Welcome back to another video. So today we're checking out Romeo is a Dead Man running on the Xbox Ally X. This is a video that I wasn't sure if I was going to make based on how the game was actually performing on the handheld. At first, it wasn't performing as well as I expected, and it honestly under-delivered compared to what I thought I'd see. The game had several performance issues early on, and after spending time adjusting the settings and trying to optimize it as much as possible, I ultimately had to run the game at the max wattage with the lower settings just to reach a playable frame rate. On top of that, the performance is very inconsistent. It's seen frame rate drops as low as 20 FPS and spike up to 60 FPS within just seconds. There isn't much screen tearing or heavy stuttering, but overall it simply doesn't perform as well as it should, especially compared to other titles on the handheld. So what you see in here is fairly early on within the game, and it should give you a general idea of the overall performance, but later in the video I'm going to showcase gameplay a bit further within the game in a more enclosed area where the performance improves slightly in those sections, and you'll see something hover closer to 50 FPS. In the area showed here though, the frame rate jumps anywhere between the low 30s to 50 FPS depending on what's happening on the screen. The inconsistency is really noticeable and fluctuates constantly. As for all the gameplay you see here, I am running at a 25 watt TDP, and if you're plugged in, I recommend going straight to 35 watt turbo. 17 watt is not playable. The FPS drops far too often. Now you could go ahead and lower the resolution to 720p and reduce the visuals as well in order to play at 17 watts, but at that point the visual quality takes way too much of a hit and the game just doesn't look good at all. Increasing the TDP is really the only way to get into a playable state. So for the settings, I do have the resolution set to 1600 by 900 with the mode set to full screen. In the graphic settings, I am using the quality set to low. You could try medium and go back and forth to see what works best for you. VSync is turned off, and I originally had the frame rate capped at 60, but I probably would recommend you go ahead and set it to 30. Upscaling is set to FSR3 on performance. I did try balance, but I noticed overall there wasn't much of a difference between the visual quality, so I set it back to performance for more FPS. Everything else that can be adjusted is going to be set to medium, but by default it is set to very high, so make sure you go ahead and change that so that the FPS doesn't tank when you're trying to play this game. So what you're seeing here is that latest section that I did mention before. Performance in this area does range between 40 to 60 FPS depending on what's happening on screen. Now do keep in mind that if you lock the frame rate at 30 FPS, in situations like this you are going to lose out on performance. So it really does come down to preference. You can leave it uncapped at 60 and deal with the heavy swings, or lock it at 30 for consistency. Overall, the game itself is interesting. It has a very unique art style, and I just wish it was a little bit more optimized for the PC. I've seen reports from reviewers mentioning performance issues on the console as well, so this does appear to be more of an optimization problem rather than the game itself and hardware limitations. Overall, if you're a fan of Suda51, then it's probably worth checking out. Romeo is a Dead Man does have its quirks and it's a unique art style. However, if the handheld is the only way to play this game, you might want to wait for a sale, or you might want to wait for some optimizations. So that's going to be it from this one. This was Romeo is a Dead Man running on the Xbox Ally X. If you happen to have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Also, share your own settings and performance results so others can try them out for themselves. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.